How are you guys doing? Welcome back to another video. My name is Rick. Today we're covering Trustpad. The Trustpad Launchpad is very interesting and I'm super excited to talk about it. It is fully cross-chain. It has massive returns and I'm going to teach you guys exactly how to make money with this Launchpad, if you should invest in this Launchpad to begin with, how everything works and much more. So you're going to want to stay tuned. Everything you need to know, one video. I hope to see you guys after the intro. All right, Trustpad. In this Trustpad review, we're going to go over everything, as much value as possible. I'm not going to waste your guys' time. We're going to go in and we're going to deep dive right away. Before we do, very quick question. Would you guys mind minimizing the screen for a second and clicking the subscribe button? It really helps the channel out and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this content. I make Launchpad videos every single day. So if you enjoy this one, you're probably going to enjoy other videos as well. So turn on the notifications, note down, I'm no financial advisor. Always do your own research. This is not financial advice. And with that being said, let's dive right into it. I'm dying to look at this Launchpad. So Trustpad is famed to be not just one of the first cross-chain launchpads, which basically means that they have many chains under their Launchpad, such as the Binance Smart Chain, but also Polygon and more. They're also famous for being one of the safest launchpads out there. They are fair and transparent, rug-proof mechanism, guaranteed allocations, and high-quality projects. So you've probably heard these sensational stories about people making 100x on Trustpad. They're very famous for that. You can make a lot of returns. I'm going to teach you guys exactly how to do it. So we're going to get into that right away. And after that, we move into all the additional information. So use the timestamps if you need to. The very first step that you have to take, basically with any launchpad, but also with the Trustpad Launchpad, is to find out what tier you would like to participate in. Now, what's a tier? How does it work? We're going to get into that, you guys. We click on levels and we see all of the tiers of the Trustpad Launchpad. Now, what does this mean exactly? Very simple. The first one is called Chance. It will cost you 3,000 TPAD, which is the native token of this Launchpad, and it will give you a pool weight of 1. Now, the very first tiers are not a guaranteed allocation, meaning that you will have a lottery ticket instead. These tickets will give you a chance to participate and get an allocation. Allocation meaning that you are allowed to invest a certain amount of money. Without an allocation, you cannot participate in the projects and thus you cannot earn money. So with 3,000 TPAD, you're going to have a pool weight of 1, which means you probably only get to invest a couple dozens of bucks and you will only have 20% chance of getting that to begin with. Now, the price of one Trustpad currently is 11 cents, making it very easy to calculate how much a tier would cost. Simply put, if 3,000 TPAD is the very first tier, we type that in and we do it times 11. That would mean that $330 is the price you would be paying for the first tier. So you're probably paying more than $600 for the second one. Relatively speaking, that is quite expensive since we're in a bear market, so Launchpad tokens are generally speaking more cheap. However, the second tier will give you a pool weight of 2 and 30% chance. Me personally, I am not interested in these. If I want to participate in a project to earn money, I need my guaranteed allocation. I'm not going to put money into Trustpad just for a 20 or 30% chance and a very small pool weight. If you want to make real money, not only a guaranteed allocation is needed, but also a pool weight of around 4 or 7 at least. So I'm personally looking at member and club to be the first tiers that you might be interested in getting into. Now, obviously here we come to the much bigger tiers, associate, executive, and partner, all the way down to Obsidian and Singularity. And these are obviously the big whales, the people that are putting way too much money into the Trustpad Launchpad, right? So we don't have to worry about that. That is probably not very interesting for you. Where I think it starts to be interesting is at Club. Now, we just simply put real quick 25,000 times 11 cents. This is the first tier that I personally would recommend. Again, it's not financial advice, but this one is only $2,700. You will get a guaranteed allocation and a pool weight of 7, meaning you will be able to invest at least a couple $100 into an IDO, IGO, or INFO that you are investing in. And a pool weight of 7 is plenty to actually get some good returns. If you're putting in, let's say, $400 and the project only does a 1x or a 2x or whatever, you're already made a very good profit of nearly $1,000. So that is something I would be interested in. At any rate, you pick, of course, the tier that fits with your financial situation and with your ambitions. Once you've picked a tier that you are interested in and that you would like to have, then you've officially completed the first step. Congratulations! Now we're moving over to the second step, and that is actually to buy the Trustpad token. Now, where can we do that? If we're on the homepage, you can immediately see a button with Buy TPAD. You click on it and it probably moves you over to PancakeSwap. There we go, PancakeSwap, which is an exchange platform where you can go ahead and buy yourself the Trustpad tokens that you will need. I'm not going to do it right now, so you guys should probably know how to do it. You click on BNB or whatever other chain you would like, and you just, obviously this is Cake, so you will have to put in, let's say Trustpad, and you click on the import or export. You know how it works. You get yourself the tokens through PancakeSwap. You can get there through the website. Very simple process. Get it done if you want to participate. Just make sure to move over to the tier that you like. So let's say you want the prospect tier. Make sure to get 6,000 Trustpad, not more, not less. You want to get what you need for the tier. Once you've done that, congratulations, you just finished the second step. That's how easy it goes. That's how quick it goes, you guys. That's how quick you can make money in crypto. So now that we have done that, the third step, you guys, is to actually stake these tokens. You're going to want to stake them, otherwise they're useless and they're just going to decrease in value. We want to get this token staked as soon as possible. Now, how do we do that? We click over here on staking, and this will bring us to a beautiful interface where we can both buy TPAD if you haven't done that already. And we have the tiers over here, once again stated down in the list. And here we can see this is basically our staking little machine where we can go ahead and stake and see what our rewards will be. So quick introduction. There are two ways to earn money with this launchpad, right, with Trustpad, but with any other launchpad for that matter. One is to participate in successful projects, and the second one being to stake. If you stake, you will get returns. We call that APY. Now, the longer you stake your tokens, the longer you will be able to participate in the projects on the Trustpad Launchpad. But the longer you stake, the more APY you will get. So 30 days will give us around 3%, but 60 days will already give us 4%. You're not going to get any real rewards in Trustpad until you stake for at least 180 days. Here, your APY will skyrocket to 10%, but you will also get a loyalty bonus. The longer you stake with a higher APY, the more you will earn in the long term. The long-term bonus percentage shows the difference between the 14-day staking rewards versus the longer-term staking rewards. Now, you will also get the allocation boosters, meaning you will get free lottery tickets, free guaranteed allocations, and free AAG. You can click on the question mark to get more information, but it's pretty straightforward. Again, you can stake even longer, and you will get a 100% additional guaranteed allocation, 40% lottery, and 112% AAG. You will get 138% compound interest, and altogether you will have a 2,200% loyalty bonus. Now, you can obviously be the judge of how long you would like to stake. That is completely up to you. But make sure to have it somewhere in the middle, or at least that would be my advice. You don't want to be stuck with the tokens frozen for more than 1,000 days. It's a bit too much. You don't know what the versatile market is going to do. So you don't want to be stuck having them frozen for 1,000 days, but you definitely want to be at that 180 mark to get all of those juicy bonuses. You done staking? Awesome. Then we can move over to the almost last step of the process of getting started. So let's move forward. Then, after you have staked all of your tokens, you will be able to participate in a project that you would like. Now, Finding a project that you like is a difficult process, and you really need to take your time for it, especially if you have a large tier. Now, what you're seeing right here are the upcoming IDOs, IGOs, and NFT offerings. However, when you're watching this video, there's a very high chance that there are different projects here. So I'm going to review these projects and tell you guys if I think that they're interesting or not, but you might have completely different projects. So always do your own research or look up on my channel and find any IDOs or IGOs, because I also do IDOs reviews. So you can find a project that you would like. Let's say, for instance, the Animalia project. You think this is interesting, you've done your research, you want to participate, then you select this project and try and participate. That brings us to the very last step. So you've already found the tier you would want, you bought the tokens, you staked the tokens, you found the project you would like to participate in. Now for the final step, you will need to verify with KYC. Now that basically means that you have to show the Launchpad, in this case Trustpad, that you are indeed the person you're saying you are. You're not a robot and no one is impersonating you. Clicking on KYC will bring you to a different page where you will get to do your KYC. Don't worry, you should not have to do this for every project. You should be able to do this once and then you have it done for the rest of your time at Trustpad. Overall, you'll need to put in your personal information and have at least one form of legal document of yourself, like a passport or a driver's license. Then you usually need to make a picture of yourself or a video. And then if you're not in the United States, it should be done after that. If you are a United States citizen, it will be a little bit more complicated, but in some cases it can be done and it will just take a bit longer. Okay, you guys, so that is all you need to know on how to get started with the Trustpad Launchpad and how to earn money. But now the big question is, do you even want to do that in the first place? Is this a launchpad that has potential, or is it a launchpad where you want to stay far away from? I'm going to give you guys all of the juice, and we're going to start with doing that by looking at the projects. Looking at the projects is one of the most important aspects of reviewing a launchpad, as it reflects what they have done in the past and what they're going to do in the near future. Over here, we're seeing a bunch of former projects that have very, very good ROI, return on investment. Basically, if you see a 48x, then it means that the price that you were able to buy the tokens from, let's say at 1 cent, have 48 times improved. So it will now be 48 cents. Meaning if you have invested $100, you will have 100 times 48. So these are very good returns. Here we see a massive increase with a 400 or what was it, 700x, a very, very big return. Now, clearly, this was something that just happened in the bull market. In a bull run, you have projects and launchpads that just go crazy. Right now, as of recording this, we're in a bear market, so you're not going to see this type of returns. So this is clearly an older project. It has to be. We can even try and trace it down when this project exactly was launched. We're seeing October. I'm not seeing the exact year, but I'm telling you this was 100% 2021 or before. Here we see the ATH, which is the all-time high. It ended up at 0.17, meaning 17 US dollar cents. And the price of which the investors in this launchpad were able to get into were just 0.003, meaning huge profits were made if you were able to sell it at the highest point. Now that's another thing. You not always will be able to immediately dump all of your tokens. There is a vesting period. So no one actually was able to sell all of their tokens at the very peak. But still, even though probably no one was able to do that exactly, they still made huge profits. That's inevitable. So this is one of the projects that went very well and that made a lot of money. But there were other projects as well, such as Blockpad, that did a 26x. If we move over here, they do something very, very nice, and they put the all-time high, the current, and the IDO price, so that it's very easy. Oh, I accidentally said in the previous project that this was the IDO price and not the current price, but you know what I meant. Here we see the price of which people can buy it. at the IDO start. Here we see how high it eventually got, and here we see the current price. So when we are seeing both the current and the all-time high being in green, it means that it never made any losses. It is still higher than its original price, and at its all-time high, it was much higher. That is the type of projects I like to see. Those are true successes. For instance, in BitHotel, it's a little bit different. We can see over here that the current price is actually 60% lower than what the price was at the IDO offering. That clearly is really bad, and it indicates that the price plummeted. Nevertheless, however, at the all-time high, if you were able to sell, you did make a pretty good ROI, as the price originally was 0.017, and you were able to sell it for 26 cents. That's also very important to take into consideration. What is the price at the all-time high is important, but what the eventual price is right now is also something to take into account. Now, these are some of the projects, of course, that ended and were very successful. Here are the upcoming projects, the projects you will be able to participate in shortly. They give a lot of information, such as the total raise that they're planning to do, when the start is of the project, what is the price going to be, and eventually also how much they are planning to raise and how far the progress is, and the listing time. These projects are still a while away from being launched, so a lot of the information is still to be announced. But overall, if you want to click on any of the projects, you can do so. You can read up on the project. You can basically vet it yourself. So you can go to their social media, read their white paper, look at their website, and make up your own mind. Do I think that this project will be profitable? And here we already see that the IDO price will be 0.14. So all you have to think is, if I participate in this project through the Trustpad Launchpad, is this particular project, in this case Animalia, going to be higher than 0.14 after the launch? Now, you have to do that yourself, because again, if you're watching this, there's probably other projects going on. If you want help on how to pick apart projects and determine if they're going to be profitable, subscribe to this channel. I'm doing IGO and IDO reviews. There's a lot you can learn from it, hopefully, but there's also a lot you guys can learn me. So definitely make sure to do that. Overall, I did go through the upcoming projects, and I can tell you that although there are some slightly junk projects in there, there are some very good ones as well, such as GT Protocol, where I'm a little bit bullish on, I have to be honest. And it's also good to see that not every project has KYC. As you can see, this one had KYC, but other projects did not, meaning that if you are a USA citizen and you don't like KYC, well, that's fine, because you don't always exclusively have to do it. So that is very good, obviously, depending on whether you like KYC or not. They have a lot of upcoming IDOs. For instance, also PlaysApp. Colin Digits actually did a video on this. If you would like to watch that, it has a lot of value about this project to see if it is profitable or not. We see both the private round and the public round. Obviously, participating in the private round can be more lucrative, but you will probably have to stake more, and most likely you will also need to follow a whitelist process. So it's more difficult to get into it, but usually more profitable. And this launchpad also has the public sale of PlaysApp as well. So that's good to see. At any rate, there's a lot of projects upcoming, which is interesting. Right now, we're in a bear market. So when I'm seeing a launchpad produce 13 upcoming projects, I already know, okay, they're busy, right? They're doing something, because a lot of launchpads have 0 projects coming up. They've also already done more than 130 or 125 projects, 10 of which got refunded, meaning that these were just bad projects. They didn't do well. And as basically a guarantee protocol that Trustpad has, right? It's in the name, trust. They give back the money or some of the money to the community once a project fails. They recognize, okay, maybe we shouldn't have put this onto our launchpad, and they do what they can, to give back to the community. Here we see refunded 75%. It even has a clickable TX where they basically give proof of all of this. So that's very cool, very nice, and I love that they do this, a little bit of guarantee for their community. Of course, a loss is a loss. People will have lost money on this, that is inevitable. But other launchpads would have just shrugged and said, oh well. And Trustpad they do that little bit extra for their community. I like that. So that is definitely a pro. Okay, so this is basically all for the projects. You can look at it yourself. They also have NFT offerings. So take a look at it. I encourage you to do so. And with that out of the way, let's move forward to the second part of this video. Here we are going to take apart the white paper and see if there are any flaws in this project, and take a look at, of course, the tokenomics if there are any. So we're moving over to the docs. Here we see, let's see, start at the beginning, the Trustpad white paper. Let's read up a little bit and see if we can grab any more information out of this. Remember, if you're putting in your money into a launchpad, you need to know every single detail, no exceptions. You're putting in your money, you're an investor. Especially in a bear market, you cannot afford to not have read the white paper and understand the project and the team behind it. Trustpad runs on the BSC network. You can read more about it and how to set up your MetaMask over there. Then there is the redistribution fee. That's a difficult word to say. It's the only fee in the Trustpad Launchpad, the only fee. There's only a 1% fee on every single transaction. Now, this fee doesn't even go to the developer's wallet. It is let's call it a community fee. In their own words, on each transfer, a 1% fee is taken and automatically distributed to all TPAD holders. The percentage of fees you earn is calculated by the percentage of TPAD that you own among holders. In very simple terms, every single transfer will give a 1% fee. Depending on your percentage of holdings compared to all other stakers, you will get X amount of reward, X amount of rewards from that 1% fee. Meaning that if you own a ridiculous amount of Trustpad tokens, you will get the biggest slice of the pie. If we look at the BSC scan over here, we see that there's one wallet that is holding more than 3 million worth of value of Trustpad. That is almost 30% of all of the tokens. This means that for every 1% transaction, he will get roughly 30% of that. If you own, let's say, 600K, you will get 5% of it. For most people watching this who are not going to invest much more than a couple thousand, you will only get, let's say, 0.01%. Meaning that for most regular investors, this is almost a non-existent amount. If you are planning on becoming a whale and investing tens of thousands of dollars, then it can add up quite a lot. Why? Well, because there's almost 400,000 transfers every single month. Yes, that's right. And they are varying between very high quantities, but also very low quantities. Regardless, every single transfer has a 1% fee. And if you are the top whale that gets 30% of everything, well, let's just say he's definitely earning a couple $1,000 just from transfer fees, which is insane. Now, again, if you're a small fish, even if you're a guaranteed allocation tiered type of investor, this will still only add up to maybe a couple dollars a month. So for you guys, it's not very interesting. If you're watching and you're planning on becoming a big fish, then it is good to take into account because it will add up and be a very good stream of additional income, which is very unique to Trustpad. Here they give some more examples, but I feel like I did a pretty good job, so I'm not going to go too far into it. Then here they're talking about how to get TPAD. You guys, I feel like I did a pretty decent job at that as well. Again, if you do want to look into it, you can do that. The white paper is on the website. Then it is important to get into the safeguard protocol. This is something unique to Trustpad, and we're going to get into what it is. Trustpad will require a minimum amount of liquidity to be added on a DEX according to the total raise. It will be decided case by case according to the total raise and other circumstances, but it will never be less than $250,000 for a specific trading pair. The liquidity needs to be locked for at least 9 months and longer if the whole vesting period passes that. Please note, planned DEX and AMM upgrades such as the one from PancakeSwap V1 to V2 will also be taken into consideration when deciding the lockup time. Trustpad will require mandatory lockups for team tokens. Trustpad will require preset distribution times to be complied with. Trustpad will only send funds in batches according to vesting schedule. and a bunch more security measures that they take. So Trustpad really doubles down on security, liquidity, and transparency for the community, which is obviously their biggest USP. You can trust us. We are a safe launchpad. We give you guarantees, and most importantly, security guarantees. It's good to have a launchpad that focuses on that so much for a change. Then here we see the TPAD vesting. You can just do it on the website. You can see the vesting, how much you will get. This is for the seed round. All of this already happened. The total supply is 100 million. And as you can see, the seed gave you 12% allocation for this price, private sale, blah, blah, blah. You can look at it. In my opinion, a lot of people use a lot of time and effort for this. I don't feel like it's very important how much the seed, private sale, and all that is. I mean, yes, it's important, but on the other hand, what I think is more important is the liquidity and the cut of the team. That really shows the biggest amount of intention, and in my opinion has the biggest importance in the tokenomics. So in short, what is liquidity? It is basically 10% in this case amount of tokens that will not be moved. They will be held there. They will just vibe. They will just chill there so that the prices don't spike too much. If there's no liquidity, the price is going to go up and down violently like that, and that is not good for anyone. So 10% liquidity from a 100 million amount is good to hold the liquidity in check. Then, as for the team, they are taking 6%, which is very little. It is worth mentioning, however, that they are not having a doxed team. We don't know how many people work in this on Trustpad, and we also don't know who these people are. So a 6% fee, again, we cannot verify to whom that fee will actually go, which, by the way, is not necessarily a problem. Obviously, a docs team is very important, and I always love seeing it, but mainly if the launchpad is very new or doesn't have has a very high percentage for the team. If I don't see a high percentage for the team and the launchpad is doing great, then I don't care too much that they're not docs. It's still negative, but not too bad. It's also interesting to see that the vesting is monthly for 12 months, meaning they can't just dump or whatever. They are holding onto their coins for at least 20 months, which is good for building trust, and it shows that the team doesn't have any ill intent, or at least it amplifies that it will most likely have good intent. They have 7% for their development, and LP staking reward will be 10%. Of course, this is referring to the staking rewards that you will get for staking your tokens. What we talked about with the APY, 10% of the tokens will be used for that. Development 7%, advisors 5%. Very interesting to see the core team and the advisory being so close to each other, especially because they've only have one advisor listed. So this one dude is getting 5% of all of the tokenomics, which is quite a lot, but okay. Then we have the deep airdrop. It is getting 8%, so that is for the airdrop. And then the black hole burn is 2%. This is just what's going to be burned at listing. As it says here, it will be burned as a deflationary mechanism, basically. And then here we have another overview of the tokenomics of the TPAD. And we went over this, but this is just nice and designed. So it's not on the website, which is, of course, a little bit worrying. I also don't see a roadmap. And again, the team isn't doxed either. The tokenomics are not on the website, but they're on the white paper, so that's fine. So yeah, there's definitely still some missing information, which is a red flag. But as I like to say, one red flag, we can deal with that as long as the rest is looking good. But it is worth mentioning, we don't know who the team is, we don't have a roadmap, and much of the information is not here. The white paper is quite short, so those are things to take into account when we look at Trustpad. Regardless, we're going to move on. There's a lot more things that we have to cover. First, we're going to look in depth at the token, and then we're going to take a very in-depth look at the social media and the community engagement and sentiment. See what people think of this launchpad, maybe look at some personal stories and see how active they are on social media. So we're going to get into that next. Stay tuned. Then we move forward to the Trustpad Twitter. Now, the Trustpad Twitter is big, very big. I mean, we're seeing 421,000 followers, which is absolutely insane. That is almost like DAO maker type of following. So I would not be surprised at all if there are bots in here. I mean, they've only joined in March 2021. It's impossible that they have so many followers. You can also see it in their engagement. They get 27 likes. So it's not like they're getting, an insane amount of engagement. So clearly these amount of followers have largely been done because of Gleam competitions or perhaps even bots. Undoubtedly, they do have several tens of thousands of actual followers, but many of whom aren't as active because they do tweet a lot, but we don't see that much engagement. On the tweets that they do have, we can see a couple of comments. Here, someone is saying, Trustpad is always innovating. The new look was really good. Congratulations, team, for the hard work. Here's someone saying, great upgrade. Now, these accounts don't look like bots. Here, Timo is saying, great guys. Also, not looking much like a bot. Let's look at one more tweet to confirm this community sentiment. Here we have basically just an update. Over 50 million TPAD now staked in the long-term pools, meaning more than 365 days. We launched 3 new pools 2 days ago. Basically just an update, right? It's fine. Okay, this one doesn't have a lot of comments. This one should have nothing. Okay, weird. But it's fine. It doesn't necessarily look like it is fake. Clearly, all of these followers didn't just drop from the sky. On CoinMarketCap, we are seeing mostly bullish. All of these comments are bullish. We're seeing only Trustpad, best of the best Launchpad, good team. We do see some bearish comments. You always have those. We see here someone saying that it's trash. And here on Trustpad, they just force you to do what they like and charge things casually. Stay away from it. Well, again, everyone has their own opinions. You have people that are bullish on it. You have people that are negative on it. Me personally, I've never encountered a Launchpad where everyone was just positive and jolly and everyone loved it. It doesn't exist. So look critical. What are the people saying that are negative, that are bearish, but also look positive at what are the bullish people saying. Most bullish comments don't really have much saying. They just say that they love it better than Trust Swap, So yeah, look into that. Overall, the community sentiment is in Trustpad's favor, although we do have some bearish comments. So it's worth looking into when you're looking at this video. Things may have changed. The community sentiment may have changed a bit. So give it a quick glance to see if it's still very much the same. Now, we're going to move over to the coin, the token. How did it behave and what my personal predictions are for the future of the Trustpad token. Looking at the overall path, it's quite an interesting one for a Launchpad. Usually we're seeing a massive surge and then basically a very steep drop off. And after that, the Launchpad token will flatline. And that means it's not doing much anymore. It's just here at a very, very low amount. The Trustpad token is a little bit different. It is still worth 11 cents, which in this bear market compared to other Launchpads is very high. We are seeing here that right off the bat, there was a big surge and the big drop off. But unlike other Launchpads, during the end of 2021 at August, they made another big surge. They went up, very high up, all the way to a maximum price of above $1. And then they stayed up for a while with a second surge. After that, the normal Launchpad pattern did repeat itself with a pretty fast drop off, followed by, well, essentially what I call a flat line, although in Trustpad's case, a little bit more fluctuality. Not a complete flat line, but overall still quite a bit of a flat line nevertheless. In the last week, you can see that the Trustpad token has been behaving quite well. There's a lot of very small peaks. Why is this? Well, it's because mostly the Launchpad has an absurd amount of transfers. 400,000 transfers is a lot for a Launchpad. Why? Well, mostly because if you buy the tokens, you usually just stake it and you don't touch it anymore. That's the utility of the token. You stake it, you will get certain utility for the tokens, such as APY, stuff like that, airdrops, and you'll be able to participate in the IDO. But transferring a Launchpad token usually doesn't bring many benefits with it. Yet, we see a lot of transfers being done over here with the Trustpad token. Maybe it has to do with the fact that holders will get 1% for transfers, so people are a bit more loose with transferring their tokens. And of course, a 1% transfer fee isn't that much, but still, it is weird to see how much this token is being transferred around. And you can directly see that in the price. Zooming in, you can see a lot of just very strong spikes. These are for the most part a lot of just transfers that are being done. Over the long run, looking at a big picture though, we do see that it is in a positive trend. Liquidity spikes, I mean, it does happen. It makes sense because most of the holders are just very large holders. 10% liquidity will not save you from one of these whales making a transfer. Now, this is zoomed in. We are seeing a drop from, what is this? 12 cents to 11 cents. This clearly wasn't a big whale, not $1 million whale, but this still looks like a dump and a purchase. And you see that a lot. So the liquidity of this coin isn't very strong, but the coin overall is doing very, very well and is a lot higher than other tokens of Launchpads. So Trustpad is doing a pretty good job in terms of their token. They also have a Medium. This is basically a blog page where they keep their viewers and their users and their investors up to date on the company. What IDOs, IGO'S are they launching? What's going on? Are there any updates to the Trustpad Launchpad, etc.? They are posting quite regularly. There was one 4 days ago, one at the 25th of July. For comparison, it is now the 2nd of August. So they're definitely posting multiple articles every single month. Here, for instance, an FAQ, frequently asked questions for diamond hands rules. So you can click on it and you will have all of the information you will need. This one in particular about the reward system, diamond hands. We're going to get into diamond hands in a little bit. Actually, why not? Why not get into it now? I mean, the Medium is not that exciting. I just wanted to show it to you guys. The diamond hands is interesting, so we are going to move into that. Oh, look at that, 61,000 followers, quite a lot. So how do I keep my unvested tokens and future distribution in the projects I have previously participated in? How do I get diamond hands rewards retroactive? Diamond hands retroactive rewards are the tokens that get forfeited from disloyal stakers and redistributed to loyal stakers. Interesting. Okay, so I actually already know all I have to know right now. This is basically kind of a Robin Hood scenario. Disloyal stakers, their tokens get confiscated and they're given released to loyal stakers as a diamond hands reward. To be eligible to receive a portion of the 80% of the rewards, the following requirement needs to be met. You took part in specific sale of the distribution where the distribution is about. So you have to be in the same IDO that the disloyal staker was. You stake at least the same initial tier or at least a guaranteed tier if the initial tier was a lottery tier when you made the purchase for the sale. So you have to be around or higher than the tier of the disloyal staker. You stake the tier in the 365 days pool or above. So you have to be a long-term staker. So, and all of the other information is out here. I'm not going to go over everything, but it is a cool initiative. It's called the Diamond Hands if you want to read up more on this. So that's the Medium, very, very useful with a lot of value. And their Twitter is looking good as well with a positive sentiment over on their CoinMarketCap. And although there is a lot of liquidity issues over here with the token, it is looking overall pretty positive. All right, moving forward, are you guys still into it? I certainly am, so that's good. So there's a bunch more stuff that we can see here on the homepage, such as the DAO voting. Here, people can basically vote. There will be proposals from the Trustpad Launchpad. If you're part of the community, you will be able to vote and have a little bit of community governance. Not too interesting. It's cool that they have it. Here we have the farming function of the Trustpad Launchpad. Let's see, what do we have over here? So here you will be able to farm. You can click on any of the projects and you will be able to deposit or withdraw. You will see here your LTY. So let's say we put in 3,000. It doesn't change, unfortunately. Here you will be able to see your APR and everything that you've earned and staked. So again, not too interesting for me personally. You guys probably know how the farming mechanism works. You can do it here. It is fully functional. And once again, a very pretty interface. Here you can do all of the farming. And not too important in my opinion. And with that, we come to the final thing, and that is the FAQ. We're tying up the loose ends here before we end the video. All of the last frequently asked questions, we're going to be covering them now. So let's see if we see any interesting questions that you guys might be asking yourself as well. How do I keep my unvested tokens and future distributions in the projects I have previously participated in? You need to stake at least the same initial tier you used to do the purchase in the sale. The staking needs to be done before August 5, 2022. For instance, if an investor participated in a sale with the executive tier, they need to stake at least an executive tier level in any of the IDO pools. The TPAD needs to be staked for the entirety of the vesting schedules of the tokens in order to receive them. If there is a period in which the tier is unstaked or unlocked continuously for 72 hours, then all the future vesting will be relinquished. So there's a lot of interesting things over here, like can I combine a tier? The very simple answer is here, no. Only the tier that will produce the highest allocation will be valid. So again, staking more than the tier that you want has benefits, but not that much, not in terms of to what you can participate in. What if there is a refund? If a sale is refunded, it will be refunded to those who are eligible to get their vestings. All the assets funds will be redistributed, as are their DH80s and DH20s rewards. You are supposed to keep your TPAD as staked for the entirety of the vesting schedule. So that's how the refunding works. Now, there's a lot more stuff over here, like what is the early unstaking fee? In short, obviously, that is if you stake and you unstake early, you're going to have to pay a fee. Usually that's about 20%. So there's that. Okay, you guys, so that is basically all for the FAQ. The rest, I'm not going to go too far into it. You can always read it yourself. That's not too hard. So that is all that I could dig up on Trustpad. What did we cover in this video? We went over the entire process on how to actually partake in these projects. We went over what Trustpad actually is, right? What do they stand for? Who's behind it? What are the extra functions and what sets this launchpad apart from other launchpads? Now, with all of this value taken into account, what is my personal opinion on Trustpad, and would I or would I not recommend this launchpad? Well, in my opinion, there are a bunch of red flags. For instance, we don't have a LinkedIn page, roadmap, or a docs to team. The tokenomics looked a little bit off, but for the rest, we are seeing loads of projects with good returns and a very positive community sentiment. Although the Twitter likely has some bot activity, they still have some good actual activity, and again, that positive sentiment that flourishes throughout Trustpad. Overall, I am positive and even slightly bullish on Trustpad, but I would really like to see a docs team and a bunch of my other red flags to be addressed. Me personally, because the prices are low, would be interested on getting started with Trustpad, but then again, I'm not a financial advisor, and in the end, it's up to you guys to make up your own mind if this is something you might want to get into or not. In my opinion, I'm positive on it with just a couple of points that I would have liked to see improved. Overall though, that is all that I have for you guys today. I really hope that you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the notifications. You can join our Discord to ask any questions or give recommendations for other launchpads to cover. We are 5,000 strong, and all of us would be very delighted to have you. So please make sure to join that. And with that out of the way, I would like to thank all of you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day and good luck staking on Trustpad. All right, you guys, see you later. Ciao, ciao.